Water that has forgotten how to move.
It's such a haunting phrase, isn't it? It just hangs there.
It really does. And I have to admit, when I first saw the outline for today and the words ice wall popped up, my brain, it went to a very specific place.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I'm thinking internet conspiracies, flat earth maps, these huge jagged cliffs at the edge of the world. The whole here be dragons thing.
Which is the normal association. I mean, we're
Yeah.
trained to think of boundaries as physical things, a fence, a wall, a cliff.
Exactly. But this source material we're looking at today, it takes that idea and just completely flips it on its head. We're not talking about geography. We're talking about a text called Beside My Waterstone.
Right.
And this place, Mantara, the whole premise is that the barrier isn't frozen water in the literal sense. It's a state of being.
That's where you have to start. Because if you get stuck on a literal interpretation, you miss all the magic of this text. Mantara isn't just another location on a fantasy map. It's presented as a realm of ascended life.
So it could be, a parallel dimension or a higher frequency of our own world.
It could be. Or simply a neighbor we've forgotten how to see. And that's the core theme we're diving into, this idea of remembrance.
Because the text doesn't say we're separated by light years. It says we're separated by amnesia, by a veil that's now getting thinner.
Precisely. The argument here is that humanity isn't, lost in space. We haven't been abandoned. We're just suffering from a collective case of forgetfulness.
So today we're going to walk through this landscape, meet the people who live there.
And these hybrid children are just fascinating.
Yeah, and try to understand what it actually means to melt that ice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start with the visuals because the prologue of this story is, wow, it's sensory overload in the absolute best way.
It's incredibly immersive, isn't it?
It talks about a place where the sky sings. And I don't think that's a metaphor like, oh, the birds are chirping.
No, the text is very specific. It says the sky sings in harmonic resonance.
What does that actually mean, though?
Well, think about something like synesthesia. When people hear music and see colors.
Right.
In our world, our senses are sort of compartmentalized. I see a wall, but the wall is silent. I hear a car, but it's invisible if I close my eyes. In Mantara, the environment is psychoreactive. It's a unified field.
So the world is actually responding to the people in it.
Exactly. It's a feedback loop. If the collective vibration is one of peace, the sky itself harmonizes with that feeling. It's not just a backdrop. It's an active participant.
That's wild. It reminds me of those bioluminescent bays, where you touch the water and it just glows, but on a planetary scale.
That is a perfect analogy. The text mentions rivers that shimmer with crystalline energy and these floating cities that rise up like celestial temples.
But it doesn't sound industrial. It sounds organic, like the buildings themselves are alive.
Alive is the word. There's no hard line in Mantara between the observer and the observed. You're not just living on the planet, you are living with it.
And speaking of who's living there, let's talk about the population. Because this isn't, one single species. It's not just the Mantarans.
No, it's a coexistence. The text says there are beings from distant stars living right alongside ancient earthly lineages.
So you have extraterrestrial DNA mixed with terrestrial.
Yes. They've moved beyond the kind of tribalism we see on Earth. It doesn't matter where your genes came from, they're all united in this ascended state.
But here's the thing that really stood out to me. Usually in sci-fi, if there's a super advanced civilization living next door, the relationship is tense.
Right. They either want to conquer us or they're terrified of us. The quarantine Earth trope.
Exactly. Lock the doors. The humans are acting up again. But the prologue here says they watch us with love.
Not with fear, not with pity, but with love. It's a very specific choice of words.
Why not pity, though? I feel like pity would be a pretty natural reaction if you look at the state of our world.
Pity implies a hierarchy. It implies, I'm better than you, you poor thing.
Mm-hmm.
But love implies equality. It implies family. They see us not as a failed experiment, but as siblings who are sleepwalking.
And they're just waiting for us to wake up.
Waiting for the illusion of separation to end.
That's such a humbling thought. It changes the whole vibe from Judgment Day to, I don't know, a family reunion.
A reunion is the perfect word. And that brings us right to Chapter 1. We zoom in from this singing sky to a very specific place, the Luria tree.
The Luria tree. I love this. It's described as this huge canopy with shifting leaves and warm, pulsing roots. It feels like the town square, but alive.
It's a hub of connection. And notice who's gathered there. It's not the elders or the council.
It's the children.
It's the children.
The hybrid children. And the text gives us these surprisingly detailed profiles. I think we should break them down.
They absolutely represent different artists. Who caught your eye first?
I think, Kaylin, maybe it's the description, silver blue skin, these large enchanted eyes. The text calls him an Arcturian Assassani hybrid. Now, for anyone listening who hasn't gone down that particular rabbit hole, what does Arcturian signal here?
Well, generally in these cosmic mythologies, Arcturian energy is linked to high intellect, technology, healing. It's very mental, very structural.
So he's the thinker.
He's the thinker. And Sasani is often connected to playfulness, to the future. So Keelan represents the mind. He's the philosopher of the group.
Okay. Then you have Alira. And she feels completely different. The text says she has the softness of distant starlight.
Illyra is Andromedan. And if Kaelin is the mind, Illyra is the heart.
Yeah.
She's described as luminous. She represents empathy, emotional intelligence, flow. She doesn't just analyze the concepts, she feels them.
And then there's Naya, who is my personal favorite.
I can guess why.
She's hanging upside down from a branch with dragonfly wings. I mean, come on.
Naya is the spark. She's action. She's the spirited, restless one. While the others are contemplating, she's hovering and moving and asking, okay, so when do we go?
And finally, there's Solon. He's interesting because he's described as Gaia-born. Deep bronze skin, markings like liquid gold.
Solon is the anchor. While the others have these airy, star-like qualities, Solon is rooted in the planet. He represents the direct connection to Earth. And that's so important because he's the one who bridges the two worlds.
And they're all just sitting around this pulsing tree, but they're not talking about games or, spaceship schematics. They're talking about us. They're talking about the ice wall.
And this is where we get that quote again. Kaelin says, "It is water that has forgotten how to move."
Let's really dig into that because it's poetic, but what does it mean practically?
Think about water's natural state.
Mm-hmm.
Its flow, its movement, it's adaptable. It takes the shape of whatever contains it. It conducts energy.
Right.
Now, what is ice? It's the same substance chemically, but it's stopped moving. It's become rigid, locked into a fixed structure. Kaelin is saying that human consciousness right now is ice.
We've frozen up.
We've become rigid in our beliefs. We think, this is reality, this is all there is, I'm separate from you. That belief structure is the ice.
So the wall isn't a prison someone built to keep us in. It's us.
In essence, yes, or at least it's the state we're experiencing. But then Illyra, the heart-centered one, adds this crucial detail. She says the wall was meant to be temporary.
That changes everything. If it's temporary, it's not a sentence, it's a phase.
Think of a chrysalis or a seed in winter. Nature freezes things sometimes to preserve them or to allow for a certain kind of internal growth. Maybe humanity needed this phase of separation.
But winter doesn't last forever.
Exactly. And Naya, the impatient one, she senses it. She says everything is changing. She can feel the thaw.
Which leads to the big reveal in their conversation, because up until this point, it's all theory. But then Solon drops a bomb.
He admits he's been beyond the ice.
He's crossed over, and he didn't just see a landscape, he saw a person.
A specific boy on Earth. And this is what grounds the entire story. It stops being about humanity as a concept and becomes about a single kid.
And he describes what it's like when a human starts to remember.
Yeah.
And I want to list these symptoms because I have a feeling a lot of people listening might find this familiar.
Go ahead.
He says the boy wakes up with a heart full of longing. He searches the sky, waiting for something to return.
That vague sense of missing something, but you have no idea what it is.
Yes. It's like being homesick for a place you've never actually been to.
There's a German word for it, Fernweh, far sickness. Usually we pathologize that feeling. We think, oh, I'm depressed or I'm anxious. But this text completely reframes it.
I'd suggest the longing isn't a void, it's a signal.
It's a phantom limb syndrome for the soul.
Yeah.
You feel the ache because the connection is still real. The boy feels the pull of Mantara because that veil is thinning for him.
And the children's reactions are just so pure. Alira immediately wants to send love. Naya wants to physically go there. She's like, let's go. Let's break him out.
Which is the natural impulse, right?
Yeah.
He's suffering, want to fix it. Intervention.
But Kaelin, the wise observer, he stops them. He says, perhaps we already have.
That line is so profound. He's saying that connection doesn't require a spaceship landing on the White House lawn.
It's like quantum entanglement almost.
In a spiritual sense, yes.
Yeah.
Non-local consciousness. If Solon is in the boy's heart and the boy is in Solon's mind, then the wall has already been breached.
But that raises the big question. If they love us so much, why don't they just show up? Why all the secrecy? And this is where we meet the elders in chapter 3.
In the celestial commune. And these elders they're not politicians.
Not at all. They're described almost like forces of nature. Orin, who shifts between solid and ethereal. Sail, a being of pure radiance. Ilyana, with hair like liquid sunlight.
They're the keepers of interwoven time.
And they have a very strict policy. It's a bit like the Prime Directive in Star Trek.
It's similar, but the motivation is different. The Prime Directive is political. This is more biological. Ilyana gives the reason. We do not force a flower to bloom before it's time.
And if you pry a flower open with your fingers...
You kill it. You damage it.
So we're the flower.
Humanity is the flower. If they revealed themselves fully right now, the shock would be too much. We wouldn't be growing. We'd just be reacting out of fear.
So we have to start the process ourselves.
We have to initiate the thaw. Their strategy isn't intervention, it's presence. They're holding the space for us.
It's like a parent watching a kid learn to walk. You can't walk for them, but you stand there with your arms open so they know they're safe if they fall.
That's it, exactly. They are the safety net. They are waiting for us to look up.
Which brings us to the climax of the story. Because Solin, he respects the elders, but he feels this deep bond with the boy. He can't just do nothing.
So he finds a middle ground. A subtle action. It's night in Mantara, twin moons are out. And he goes to the Waterstone.
Which is the title of the book, Beside My Waterstone.
The water is the medium.
He just touches the surface of this lake. A single touch. He sends a ripple.
And this is where it gets cinematic. We see the action in Mantara, and at the exact same moment, we see the reaction on Earth.
The boy is asleep in his bed, and he stirs.
He feels a warmth. He feels a memory of a home he had never seen.
It validates everything. The boy isn't just daydreaming. That feeling is real. It's Solin reaching out.
It connects right back to Kalen's metaphor. The wall is just water. And because all water is connected, because consciousness is fluid, the ripple Solin makes in Mantara is felt on Earth.
Love does not forget. That's the mechanism, isn't it? It's not a radio signal, it's an emotional resonance.
Love is the carrier wave. So Solin's intention it travels through the dimensions.
It's such a quiet, gentle victory. No explosions, no battles. Just a kid waking up feeling a little less alone in the universe.
And often that's how the most profound changes begin. Internally, quietly.
So let's bring this all back for a second. We've talked about singing skies and hybrid kids and walls of ice. For the listener who's, sitting in traffic right now, why does this matter?
I think it matters because we live in a world that feels incredibly fractured. We feel separated from everything, from nature, from each other, often from our own sense of purpose.
We feel frozen.
We feel frozen. We're living behind the ice wall.
And this story just offers a completely different perspective on that feeling.
It suggests that the isolation is an illusion. It suggests that the longing you feel, that sense that something is missing, isn't because you're empty. It's because you're remembering.
That is a huge shift. Instead of thinking I'm broken, you think I'm connected to something I just can't see yet.
Exactly. If you feel homesick, it proves you have a home to be sick for. And by the logic of Mantara, the very fact that you're even asking these questions means the thaw has already begun in you.
Water that has forgotten how to move.
And the moment you remember your water,
you start to move again, and the wall dissolves.
The wall dissolves.
Well, I'm definitely going to be looking at the sky a little differently tonight. And I want to leave everyone with a kind of thought experiment. The next time you wake up from a dream that felt a little too real, or you catch yourself staring at the horizon with that weird, inexplicable pull, don't just brush it off.
Ask yourself, is this just a random feeling? Or is it a ripple from the other side of the ice?
Because, as the text says in its very last line, the end and the beginning.
Indeed.
Mantara might be closer than we think. Thanks for taking this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you in the next one.